All right, this is episode 2 of the Ask Ben podcast. First podcast episode, we took on a question mainly diet, I would say. Now we're gonna talk about lifting. Okay, so I'm gonna have my producer Royce ask me the question, and this is actually again his question.
All right, I just want to know what's better, doing TRX or lifting free weights?
Okay, so first let's clarify the question. So it's I understand it, and we're all of our things we know what exactly we're talking about. So when you're saying TRX, I'm assuming you're talking about the suspension trainer,
Yes.
where you're kind of hanging off. Okay, so TRX, Jungle Gym, there's other brands out there. So basically the hanging suspension trainer. Okay, TRX is kind of like the generic name. They're actually the company. And free weights, I would assume you're talking about like dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, things like that, hex
Yes.
bar. Okay, so we have that distinction. This is good. I would say short answer is it depends on your goal, and that's going to be almost the answer to like a lot of these questions. But it really does. Okay, now with this podcast especially, I want to talk mainly. I want to use 50% evidence, 50% practical. Right, that's who I am. I'm an evidence-based guy that is out in the field. I'm in. I guess the term is in the trenches. And I want to give you usable knowledge and also scientific knowledge. Okay, so it depends. Why? Short answer. Which one would I pick? It would be free weights. Okay.
Okay.
That's the short answer to which one I would pick. Okay. Now, it depends on who is asking me, but I would say most of the time, if I was going to pick one or the other, as in I could only use one, it would be free weights. All right.
All right.
TRX, we should classify as a form of balance training, right? So TRX is a form of unstable surface training, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So when you're holding on a TRX, no matter how you hold it, with your feet, with your arms, it's usually in your hands. It's almost like unstable surface, right?
Yeah, you have
There's
to balance all the time.
Exactly. It's a large core component, large balance component. So that in itself is not good for compression, right? So one of the major benefits of lifting weights, especially free weights, is the compression, right? Like spinal compression, femoral compression, and that's the thing that's going to increase your bone density, right? So I kind of it kind of makes me a little upset when I see people that are older, right? Only doing machines, only doing bands, only doing cables, and not picking up a free weight, not going overhead with the free weight, not doing a free weight squat, for example.
Okay.
And the reason is because you're missing out on that compression that's going to increase your bone density. It's going to help in many other things, joint health. These are things that free weights, I believe, can create a more meaningful change. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not 100% on this, but for the most part, I would pick free weights. All right. Now, there are some exceptions. Okay, so the exceptions would be why is there a scenario that I would say TRX or a suspension trainer is a better option? Yes, there are some times where it's a better option in certain scenarios. I'll list out these scenarios now. One is if there's a kind of a painful range of motion that you do with free weights, but then once you transfer it over to TRX, maybe the resistance is different, the leverage is different. It now becomes a pain-free movement, right?
Okay.
That would be a good time to use TRX versus free weights. I don't really want people to move through a painful range of motion most of the time, right? I'm not a rehab specialist, and I don't generally do that. So if I have a client that doesn't do well with a row, like a dumbbell row, for example, but they can do a TRX row or a suspension trainer row, and they do fine with it, no pain, then I'm going to go with that. Okay.
Okay, so basically it's good to use both, whichever one works best for your body.
You know what? That's probably the best answer is a combination of both. There is no better. It's more of using both at the appropriate time. Now, I would say that free weights are likely, at least the way I train. I train mostly athletes, MMA fighters, people like that. I will stick to free weights the majority of the time, and TRX can either be a finisher or a superset or something like that. All right. Now, I also teach a group fitness. I do boot camps and classes in which it's very difficult to program specifically for an individual. It's like 8 people with different fitness levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that case, it might be easier. So this is obviously if you're a trainer, right? If you're a trainer and you're training 8 people, it's very easy to set up a TRX and everybody can use the same TRX and do the rows or squats or lunges, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You know what I'm saying? But with free weights, now what happens, right? I have a super strong guy in a station, and then right after him, the same station, there's a woman that's on her first week of class. I can't use the same weight, so it's kind of a hassle sometimes when you have to move that much weight. Okay, obviously this is just for trainers, right? Mm-hmm. This is not for if you're just listening, you just train by yourself, but there are advantages to TRX, and there's advantages with free weights. Okay, digging a little bit deeper into the science of it, I will say that with free weights, you're going to be able to develop strength much better. All right, think about when you're using a TRX. Let's just use the TRX row as the example, right? Mm-hmm. At a certain point, I could do 20 easily, right? I could probably do 50 if I wanted to, but that's not anything special. Most people could do 50. So if you're able to do that many reps, right, you're getting way outside of the rep range used to increase strength. So at that point, again, it just becomes a hassle, right? Now you have to put on a weighted vest. Now you have to, think of creative ways to create more tension in the exercise so that you could get stronger, right? Okay. But if I wanted to do a barbell row, right, I just slap another plate on there, a 10 or a 5 or whatever I want to increase, and boom, instantly you increase the the intensity of the exercise, right? So that's an advantage. It's just convenience, right? Convenience and that. Another important factor too to take into account is that whenever you're dealing with unstable surface, and I do consider TRX unstable surface somewhat, balanced training, you're not going to be able to generate the maximum amount of force anyway, right? That's just how things work. So if you want to get strong, as strong as you can get, free weights are likely going to be the better option. If you're training a group, or if you're I guess if you're training people who have injury or something like that, maybe TRX could help. But the best answer I can give is using a combination of both when is appropriate is going to be the best answer for now.
All right. So free weights and TRX, they're both pretty much beneficial no matter who comes up to it, basically.
I use both. In my own training, I use both. I use TRX for specific exercises, but I primarily use free weights. So both are good. All right. So does that answer your question, Royce?
Yeah, that answers it.
Cool. So let's that'll wrap up podcast episode number 2. Again, for now, please send all questions to my Instagram. It's at CoachBZ on Instagram. Once again, at CoachBZ on Instagram, and we'll be back with episode 3. Thank you.